Alright, let's get this on. I'm using my camera this week on my Toshiba, since it's like 1:15 in the morning, 1:15, and I don't want to break up all the laptops. So, I didn't do a vlog last week just because of Easter, and it was hectic with school and work and Easter. We got a lot of stories to do, so let's get it on a roll. Yeah, I haven't gotten that much sleep lately, so. The first one here from PC Magazine is, this was published on March 23rd, so last week. Well, actually this week, but let's see. Yeah, this is not last week, but the week before, so this is good. The week before Easter. A little old, but it's interesting. Google's ditching the Chrome application launcher. Google is phasing out its Chrome application launcher for Windows, Mac, and Linux users. Adapted from Chromebooks, the feature allows easy access to programs like Google Mail, Search, Documents, and more. A single click of the colorful taskbar icon reveals a tray of Chrome applications in the search bar for those with a large library. But they've found that users on Windows, Macintosh, and Linux prefer to launch their applications from within Chrome. Engineering director Mark Polliger wrote in a blog post. So by early April, Google will no longer enable the launcher when users first install a Chrome application, and those folks currently running the launcher will receive a notification before its removal, which is expected to be in July, so about 3 months from now. The function will remain unchanged on Google Chrome's operating system, and despite a lack of user interest, Polliger's announcement garnered plenty of feedback. I figured. One person wrote, no, this is a terrible idea, calling the move appalling and obnoxious. Another person wrote, I rely on the Chrome launcher almost constantly. He continued, dumb idea, Google just plain stupid. Others stood with Google, commending its decision to scrap the feature. An ill-advised attempt at Chrome OS, Windows, and OS X, one person wrote, it was confused to use and stepped on Windows and OS X's toes when it comes to launching programs. Chrome applications, of course, can still be accessed by clicking the app's shortcut in the bookmarks bar or typing Chrome://apps in the Omni box. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, if people weren't using it, I mean, it makes sense why they would want to get rid of it. But I mean, whoops, wrong computer. It makes sense that they want to get rid of it, but I mean, I guess it makes sense because I mean you can do it through the browser. I mean, why would you want? I mean, I guess you really don't need it. I mean, because you have it in the browser. So I mean, why would you want application? Why would you want the megabit taken up on your hard drive anyways? I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on the person's level of interest, but they're always changing something all the time. I mean, well, continuously, I guess, changing. Why do I keep on trying? I'm trying to hit. I keep using this keyboard. I'm trying to hit the Chromebook keyboard. Trying to search something on Google here quickly. But that's actually / not // Yeah. See how tired I am. Anyways, the next one is Microsoft is teasing new live tiles for Windows 10. This was from March 26th off of The Verge. Microsoft has been working on making its signature live tiles much more interactive and capable for a couple of years now. They have tweaked the live tiles user interface several times since Windows 8's original introduction, and, well, we all know how everyone hated the tiles on Windows 8. I didn't mind them so much. Well, like I said, I just do everything in command line Python anyways, but in Bash. Which, speaking of Bash, I'm going to get to that. But, yeah, it's mostly, I guess it was mostly great for tablets, Windows tablets only, I guess. Anyways, while the software makers tweaked the live... Okay, here we go. The fundamental way you interact with Windows 10's live tiles remains the same. That might be about to change. Uh-oh. At Microsoft's Build Developers Conference next week, the company's... Well, which was just this week. This is an old article. The company is holding a session entitled What's New for Tiles and Host Notifications. The session teases that live tiles are about to change. Live tiles are evolving with highly requested surprises that you won't want to miss. Read the session's notes. Windows 10, which was originally supposed to ship with interactive live tiles, so Microsoft might be ready to include them in an update. We've seen previously an interactive tile view concept that makes it easier to respond and interact with notifications within apps. Instead of tapping on a tile to reply to an electronic mail, email, you'd be able to scroll through your messages from within the tile and reply in line. That's a pretty cool way. I mean, you wouldn't have to just do it right there in the tile. Don't pop up a browser or anything. So, get some water here. That's really cool. This would particularly be useful for applications like the calculator. Yeah. You never have to launch the full application. Makes sense. It's not clear whether Microsoft's research projects are the two highly requested surprises, but we'll find out a lot more about Microsoft Windows 10 plans next week at the Build 2016, which was just this week. Yeah, this seems like a good idea. I mean, don't have to launch the full application, and it's just right there in the tile. And Microsoft 10 did come out with, or Windows 10 did come out with multiple windows, which Linux has had for a long time. Microsoft, they're always a step behind, I tell you, all the time. I don't know. Microsoft for you, but so yeah, this will be pretty cool. I mean, this is technically, they're catching up to Linux pretty much. I mean, like I said, Linux has had this for years. They've had it where multiple windows and everything, you know, have one workspace, another workspace, another workspace. Oh, in one workspace I can have Chrome, another workspace I can have my spreadsheet, whatever, for work or for whatever. The next window I can have whatever. I mean, so I mean, they're just further developing this, and I don't know. They actually have gotten smarter. I'll admit that Microsoft is getting smart within the last 2 years. So we'll see what happens here. The next one was the Justice Department decided to drop the lawsuit against Apple because they hacked into the iPhone themselves. Now this has been going on for months, but well, since Christmas. 4 months now. Well, this is in March. This was published on March 28th. But yeah, pretty much almost 4 months. 5. It was because December. Okay, 4.5 months. Yeah, 4.5 months this has been going on. Crazy. But they hacked the phone themselves and the iPhone 5C, and they decided to drop the lawsuit against Apple. I guess you figured you would. I mean, you broke the phone. You opened the. You don't really need Apple anymore. You don't really need to sue them anymore. So yeah. But this statement from Apple for TechCrunch reads, "From the beginning, we objected to the FBI's demand that Apple build a backdoor into the iPhone because we believed it was wrong and would set a dangerous precedent. As a result of the government's dismissal, neither of these occurred. This case should never have been brought." Yeah, I agree with him there. We will continue to help law enforcement with their investigations, as we have done all along. And we will continue to increase the security of our products as the threats and attacks on our data become more frequent and more sophisticated. I can never say that in a sentence. Apple believes deeply that people in the United States and around the world deserve data protection, which is true, we do. Security and privacy. Sacrificing one for the other only puts people and countries at greater risk. Yeah, that's true. This case raised issues which deserved a national conversation about our civil liberties and our collective security and privacy. Apple remains committed to participating in that discussion. And this thing goes on to read. Yeah, this thing lasted for 5 weeks, back and forth. They're going to face off in a courtroom in Riverside, California. But last week, the FBI cleared at the very last minute that it might not need they might not need Apple's help after all. So, and then apparently, and then there's been some other stuff where they want to start now. There's other articles saying now, just this week, that the FBI wants to, now that they can get into an iPhone, they want to help other cases and break into other iPhones for other law or court hearings and stuff. I mean, as long as they don't do it against the general, oh, we're gonna go hack my neighbor, I mean, they just do it because of against people who are in court or they're trying to put in jail. Yeah, I mean, go for it, but it's a touchy subject. I mean, it can go back and forth, but I mean, it is a really touchy subject. Well, I mean, looks like they are using it in the right way. So, for now, we'll see. Acer is now coming up with a new aluminum Chromebook, which offers 14 hours of battery life. So, yeah, you can go surf the web for 14 hours and not get any sleep. Well, I guess you could, but you only have about 6 hours left in the day. No, 14. Oh, no, wait. Was it 16? 14 hours, sorry. 10 hours left to sleep. I had a brain fart there. Acer has been a familiar part of the Chromebook market for a while now, which is true. I mean, Target sells nothing but Acers, which they're an okay laptop. They're not. They're okay. They're not. It's not the highest quality of laptop. I mean, yeah, okay. It might be Acers might be good for college students or heck, maybe kids or well, no, not even kids, but maybe like teenagers who don't really care. They're a cheap laptop. I mean, I decided not to go with an Acer Chromebook. I decided to go with a Samsung Chromebook, which I got this at Micro Center, and it's a pretty good machine. It's an Intel processor, but Acer's, never been a fan. Anyways, their latest addition to the market is the Chromebook 14, which follows this trend, providing a 14-inch display with the choice between high definition 1366 by 768 and full high definition 1920 by 1880 resolutions. The Chromebook 14 is also Acer's first to use an all-aluminum case. Or chassis, yeah. Aluminum chassis. Or chassis. I can't speak today. And with the high-definition version, the company promises up to 14 hours of battery life. Acer hasn't revealed all the pricing for the Chromebook 14, but says the full high-definition version will start selling from $299 with 32 gigabytes of flash storage, the cheaper eMMC type, and a 1 gigahertz Intel Celeron processor and 4 gigabytes of RAM. Not bad. I mean, it's a Chromebook. I mean, this has... I think this Chromebook here has 4 gigabytes of RAM. Might have 8, if I remember correctly. I have to look into that, but Yeah, I mean the model you can pre-order the model now on Amazon, and it'll be coming to Best Buy in April. There will also be a version with 2 gigabytes of random access memory and 14 gigabytes of storage, but pricing and availability for this model have yet to be announced. Um, yeah, that's decent specifications for a Chromebook. The fact that it's an aluminum case, that's could be interesting. That's cool. I mean, that makes it sturdier. Um, we'll see how that goes. We'll see what they price it on, but we'll see what happens with that. Chromebooks are good for. I mean, if you're only using it for everything, everything's on the cloud. You can't. Chromebooks, you can't. It's not stored on. It doesn't have a. Well, it has a hard drive, but you can't. You don't store anything on the hard drive. Well, yeah, you can store stuff on the hard drive, but it doesn't have that much hard drive. It's mostly meant for just storing stuff on the Google Cloud, and everything's cloud. It's cloud storage, and sure, it has one HDMI high def multimedia interface port and a couple universal serial bus ports, so you can plug in a flash universal serial bus and drive, and that you can move files that way. But I mean, like, I pop up documents and it goes right here to Google Documents. Everything's cloud based mostly on it. All of it is. Yeah, except for an external storage device. But this one here has one HDMI port. It has a micro secure digital slot, so you can plug in a micro SD card. Has 2 universal serial bus ports, 1 HDMI, and 1 headphone jack. But it's a good little machine if you don't want to bring your big laptops on stuff, which I have. Of course, what me, I'm bringing everything everywhere. I have 3 laptops I bring with me all the time. Just being a tech nerd, I don't know. My mobile workstation. What else do we got here? The last story of the day, and this is probably the most exciting story. About time, because Microsoft Command Line sucks. Microsoft is adding Bash Born Again Shell to the command line. If you don't know what that is, that's the command line that's run on OS X, Unix, Linux. Way better of a coded command line than Windows CMD, which it's a little bit better than DOS. So it basically goes DOS, Windows CMD, Bash, all the way up there. Just you can do totally. It's so much better. If you saw the movie Black Hat, Chris Hemsworth, that's all he does in that movie is all that stuff is done in Born Again Shell. Even though I like that movie. A lot of it's right. There's a few BS things in it, but I mean, for most part, it's not like your average hacker movie. I broke into the Pentagon. 2 seconds. No, it's actually more realistic. There's a couple minor unrealistic things in it, but if you want to see how hacking and social engineering and phishing attacks and all that works, go check it out. It's a pretty good movie. I own it. It's a decent movie. Anyway, so Microsoft is reaching out to Linux, and they're doing this to reach out to Linux developers. Microsoft is reaching out to Linux developers in a way that the company never has before. The Bash shell is coming to Windows. Yes, the real Bash is coming to shell. It's not an emulator. It's not using. It's basically the reverse of Wine. Wine, which stands for Wine, is not an emulator. Which basically which Wine is used to port if you're running Linux or OS X and you want to run Windows command or programs like games and stuff. Well, games or maybe not games, but if you want to run like Microsoft Office and all that, you use Wine. This is the opposite of Wine, but it's not virtual. They're saying it's not a virtual machine either. It's not cross-compiled tools. This is native. But according to the Microsoft Build keynote, they will It'll be enabled in the summer's anniversary update to Windows 10, so this summer. And they're doing this so it's more so they can offer more flexibility and convenience for developers who prefer using these binaries and tools. More importantly, it represents Microsoft's refreshing stance on open source development. About time, Microsoft. Open source is great. Basically, the Vice President Harry Meyerson teased more coming soon in regards to other possibilities, signaling a modernized and extremely open Windows 10. This blog post by Microsoft's Scott Hanselman offers a deeper explanation of the move. This is brilliant for developers that use a diverse set of tools like me, he said. This is a genuine Ubuntu image on top of Windows with all Linux tools I use. So it's an Ubuntu distribution of Linux, which is probably the most popular. I have that on my Lenovo. There's other ones like Red Hat, Arch Linux, Mint. There's a whole bunch of other distributions. Fedora, but Ubuntu's the more popularized version. This is just great. I mean, honestly, this is just... It's about time that they do this. I mean, like I said, I've been saying, it's way more better command line, way more better everything. And about time. Some people might not like it. I know there's a professor. I have a professor at school who, I don't know if she's really excited for it. I mean, she mostly uses Windows. Of course, the books are still using Windows. They're still teaching Windows XP command line, which is a lot of it is in DOS and still using DOS. And well, DOS is irrelevant, for obvious reasons. There's certain CMD commands that are in that book that don't work anymore because they're DOS. And I find that pretty funny, but most of them do. But there's a few of them that don't. But it's about time because Bash is a way superior command line to use. So, which will let you use Emacs, which is a good, or Emacs or Nano, which are two great text editors. And I use that for when I'm coding a Python file or any kind of files. Instead of using an integrated development environment, IDE, but it's about, like I said, it's about time Microsoft does this. So, let's see here. I think that's about it for now. It's getting late. I'm gonna relax a little bit. I don't fall asleep that much, but I'll upload this. Put your comments below. Tell me what you think. I'll put the hyperlinks, URLs to these articles, and famous words of Leo Laporte. Have a great geek week.